Did you ever have a moment, Sobes, where like Carey Price is good, obviously when you go there, but when you're playing with them, you're practicing day in day out. When you're just like this one moment, dude, this guy's nasty. We got one of the best goalies in the world right here. What a treat this is to watch him.
If I look back, at some of the goalies that I played with, and, my two goalies when I was in Russia, Vasilevskiy and Sorokin.
No
Whoa.
way.
Yeah,
Wow.
all right. Vasilevskiy was my starting goalie in UFA at 18. Yo, basically, and then you got Sorokin that he was getting called up from the MJ or the VHL and playing games and lead, at 16.
Wow.
What were they
So
like?
again, Vasilevsky's been the same size, just ridiculous. I've never seen a Russian anybody work as hard as he was. They're 2 hours early, didn't drink, married his wife, stretching these retarded stretches, legs like this. A great human. Sorokin, great.
Would it
That
be fair
was
to compare Vasilevsky just based on what you're saying to almost Khabib? God, my wife, training. That's it.
and that was it. His goal was to make it. He married his wife during the Sochi Olympics. So, because he knew he was going to come to North America, and that was the only way she could come, with the visa situations, and look where he is. So, back to your original question, it was you get in awe of just watching him. You know how good they are, and getting out to play the puck. As a D-man, let's go back. Bennington this weekend. The Four Nations getting out and playing that puck. It was almost, I didn't care if you could stop the puck, just if you could stop the rim and give it to me so I didn't get my face blown up. That's when I loved you.
Oh, how nice is that? He stops it behind the net. Doesn't matter how he does it. He sets it up 6 inches off the boards, depending on what hand shot you are, and you just make that quick first pass. He's back in the net. He's world. I mean, they're all world class.
But go back to the day when we go back there, they blow us up from behind and put us 6 rows. That was the game. Now, obviously, not as much, but to know that I wasn't going to get blown up in the 6th room, I can go around and pick up that puck in my forehand. It saved a lot of dislocated shoulders, and I had enough concussions, so definitely 1 or 2 concussions.
And
Sorry.
anybody can go into the scouting report and find out what the best parts of your game was. But in your mind, what was the best part of your game?
So obviously in the NHL, I was always rated the ugliest and the slowest. So it was my anticipation, and that's part of my dyslexia is I kind of seeing a 3D image, right? With Tetris. So I kind of knew where the puck was going, before they did, because you can't be that slow and not be okay. And obviously at the end of my career, shot blocking, I knew where those lanes were because of my dyslexia and because of my spatial awareness. So it was definitely my anticipation of where the puck was going to be before they put it there.
I got two more for you. Game 7, overtime. Who are you putting in net of all the goalies you played with? I know you had one in net for overtime, but got to pick one.
Got to pick one. I would probably go with Vasilevskiy for his size. That the way he plays, the way he can cover that, obviously, and go Luongo. That's why he was so successful. Got to go with Vasilevskiy. He's played a lot of games in Tampa, but good kid. Love him too.
Blows my mind how he's able to. Like I'm a big guy, right? I'm 6'5", and I move anywhere near what Vasilevskiy can do, but just his range and just all the physical attributes he has that a Dustin Wolf has, but in a 6'5" package is insane.
He was always there 2 hours before stretching, and he didn't get that way. Obviously, you got to have natural talent, but there's goalies that make themselves look small, and there's goalies that make themselves look big, and he just back in the day when we were playing in Russia, you used to get a breakaway, paddle down, you'll go to his backhand side, and he'd flip out his little butt end of the stick, and KHL, that's when the lockout when Ovi was there, Backstrom and Kovalchuk and Matt. He just picked them apart. So it was fun to watch.
Wow. You get any PK Suban stories? That's the last one I got, Dave. I love that smile, by the way, Soaps.
PK was a beauty, right? It's we end up losing to Boston in Game 7. In OT, they went on to win. PK could play the game. If PK, and if PK kept that game more simple, he would have been so much better. he loved Montreal. He'll go behind the net, somebody chase him. He'd do his circle. He wanted to hear the crowd, and obviously he could shoot the puck, but a hell of a player. And I think, what do you have, a 8-year, $80 million deal he's living off of now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's okay. I think he can afford groceries. Inflation isn't hitting him too bad.
Yeah, no, definitely. And he's in the U.S., so he's only taxed at like 42% rather than 52%.
Yeah. Listen, we could do another hour on that. Okay, one more. Only that's visible. I'm a big tattoo guy. Give me quick stories on just the tattoos that we can see on you.
Yeah, they're all 4 Gospels, Adam and Eve. God saved me. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm still here. So that's all that.
Show them up. Show them up real quick.
All right, it's front, both arms, chest, rosary, cross in the back, legs.
Love it, man. Love it.
Had my first son 24. Told my kids, you can have a tattoo, but you can't have anything until you're 25. Because trust me, whatever you like as senior in high school or 19, 20, that Tweety bird in your chest, you're not going to like when you're 40.
Bingo. Couldn't agree with you more, man. That's great advice to close on.
Does it not feel like no tattoos is the new tattoos? Like everybody has tattoos nowadays. I know you're covered in tattoos. I'm au naturel. Nothing there. You don't put bumper stickers on a Ferrari.
That's true. I'm all about shock value. That's when you put something on there for a reason.
How do you think I got him to comment on the Instagram clip and then start the conversation and get him on the show? This is how you do it.
Hey, if you enjoyed what you just saw, we do new clips every single day, twice a day on the Clips channel. You see clips right here. And beside Dave's crotch, we have a full-length show every single Sunday right by my hand.
Click right here.